You know that moment, usually around the 25th of the month, when you open your banking app and it says something like 37 euros and 14 cents. Rent is coming. Your car is making a weird noise. You're silently praying that absolutely nothing goes wrong for the next few days. And of course, that's exactly when the washing machine dies, or your phone screen shatters, or your boss hints that overtime is not guaranteed next month. So you do what most people do: credit card. Borrow from family, delay another bill. Next month starts already in the red, and you tell yourself, I'll fix my finances when I earn more. If that feels a little too familiar, listen closely. My name is William, and I spend way too much time thinking about first safety nets, saving the first 5,000 euros so you can finally stop living paycheck to paycheck. If you're someone who lives from paycheck to paycheck, your account is almost at zero every month, and any small emergency, a repair, a move, a job problem, knocks you down and keeps you from changing jobs, studying something new, or moving to a better place. This is going to change your perspective. Because everyone online talks about 6 months of expenses, fully funded emergency funds, the 20,000 euro rule. And honestly, when your balance is bouncing between 0 and 200 euros, hearing you should save 10,000 euros doesn't inspire you, it just feels impossible. Here's the thing, you do not need 10,000 euros to feel the difference. You don't even need 6 months of expenses. There is a much smaller number that flips the switch in your brain, and that number is 5,000 euros. I call it the 5,000 euro rule. Your money life starts to feel completely different once you've saved your first 5,000 euros and you don't touch it for non-emergencies. Let me show you why this matters so much. According to Eurostat, in several national surveys, roughly 1 in 3 Europeans say they cannot handle an unexpected expense with savings, and more than half of young adults report having less than 1,000 euros in the bank. So if you feel behind, you're not uniquely bad with money, you're just normal. And normal is broke. Here's what most people don't realize. The hardest part is not building a perfect textbook emergency fund. The hardest part is going from 0 to I am not constantly in danger anymore. That first step happens around 5,000 euros for a lot of people. Let's talk about what 5,000 euros actually does in real life, not in theory. Think about the usual financial disasters. A car repair for 600 euros, a rental deposit plus first month's rent for maybe 1,400 to 2,000 euros, a surprise dental bill of 500 euros, a last-minute flight to see family that sets you back 350 euros, or even 1 month of no income, which for many people is around 1,200 to 1,500 euros. Any one of those by itself can be covered by a 5,000 euro buffer. It still hurts, but it doesn't ruin you. You don't have to put it on a 20% credit card. You don't have to borrow from 3 different people. You don't start the next month at negative 400. Now compare that to having almost nothing. The exact same events, but now every problem becomes a chain reaction. The 600 euro car repair becomes 600 euros plus months of interest. The rental deposit sits on your credit card that you plan to pay off but never really do. 1 month without a paycheck means not only are you at 0, you're behind on rent, and now your landlord is nervous. Mathematically, 5,000 euros doesn't sound huge. Psychologically, it's the line between one problem ruins my year and I can handle this. This is where it gets really interesting. When your bank account is always between 0 and 200 euros, your brain is in permanent survival mode. You say yes to bad jobs because you can't afford to say no. You accept overtime that burns you out because you're terrified of losing the income. You don't invest in yourself. You don't change cities. You don't negotiate because any risk feels life-threatening. That's scarcity brain. It's not about being weak. It's literally your brain's response to constant danger. Now imagine you have 5,000 euros that you do not need this month. Suddenly, your questions change. Instead of, how do I survive until Friday, you start asking, what decisions give me a better life next year? You can turn down a toxic job offer and take a few weeks to search properly. You can move to a shared flat that's 150 euros cheaper, even though the deposit is painful. You can pay 300 euros for a course that upgrades your skills instead of putting it on a card and regretting it. Same salary, same person, but those 5,000 euros switch you from crisis mode to option mode. Let me make this concrete with a simple story. Miguel and Sarah both earn 1,400 euros a month after taxes. Miguel never builds a buffer. Every time something goes wrong, he uses credit. At the end of the year, he has 0 savings and 800 euros in debt. Sarah decides her mission is the first 5,000 euros. She cuts about 100 euros a month from lifestyle, cheaper phone plan, fewer delivery meals, and picks up a small side gig 2 evenings a week for an extra 150 euros. That's 250 euros per month going into a separate account. In 20 months, she hits 5,000 euros. Month 21, their company is bought. Management offers them both a new role. More stress, same pay. Miguel says yes immediately. He has to. He cannot afford even 1 week of uncertainty. Sarah says no thanks. She lives off part of her buffer and spends 6 weeks job hunting. She finds a new job paying 1,650 euros a month instead of 1,400. That 250 euro difference is exactly what she was using to build the buffer. In less than 2 years, that one decision, made possible by her 5,000 euros, earns her more than 6,000 euros of extra income. The return on that safety net is insane, and it didn't come from the stock market. It came from having the power to say no. Now you might be thinking, William, 5,000 euros is impossible on my income. So let's break it down. 5,000 euros over 2 years is about 208 euros per month, or roughly 7 euros a day. For some people, that's still tough, I get it. But the question becomes, how close can you get? Could you cut 60 euros from bills and subscriptions, earn 100 euros from a weekend side gig, and find 50 euros from cooking more at home? That's already 210 euros. It's not fun, but it is temporary. Another objection is, shouldn't I invest instead of letting 5,000 euros sit there? And here's what most people don't realize. That first 5,000 euros is not an investment. It's insurance against terrible decisions. Without a safety net, you don't invest rationally anyway. You panic sell, you over-risk, or you cash out the second a problem appears. Build the 5,000 euros, then invest. So, how do you actually do this? Step 1, make it your main financial mission. Until you have 5,000 euros, your #1 money goal is building that safety net. Not a new phone, not a nicer car, not crypto. Step 2, open a separate account, ideally at a different bank, and call it Safety Net. Do not touch. Step 3, automate a monthly transfer the day after you get paid. If you wait to save what's left, you already know how that story ends. Step 4, do a 30-day sprint. For 1 month, get a little extreme. Sell things you don't use, take every extra shift you can reasonably handle, cancel or downgrade every subscription that doesn't truly matter to you. The goal is to get your first 500 or 1,000 euros quickly so you feel real progress. Step 5, decide in advance what counts as an emergency. Rent, car repair so you can get to work, basic medical expenses? Yes. Holidays, upgrades, nights out because you're stressed? No. Here's the surprising part. The 5,000 euros almost always pays you back. Imagine that safety net lets you wait for a job that pays just 150 euros more a month. Over 3 years, that's 5,400 euros of extra income, more than the entire buffer. If it lets you move somewhere 100 euros cheaper per month, that's 3,600 euros saved in 3 years. If it gives you the courage to invest in a skill that brings in even 1 extra client a month, the numbers jump again. Your 5,000 euros isn't just sitting there doing nothing, it's quietly buying you better choices. So, here's what I want you to do after this video. Don't just think, yeah, I should save more. Open the new account, give it a name, decide on a realistic monthly amount, even if it's only 50 euros to start. Set the automatic transfer. Make the decision that the next time something breaks, you'll pay with your money, not with future use money on a credit card. Because once you get to that first 5,000 euros, you'll realize something important. Money isn't only about buying things, it's about buying options. And the first real option you ever buy is the option to not panic every time your phone buzzes with a new bill. If you want a follow-up video on how to go from the first 5,000 euros in savings to the first 20,000 euros invested, tell me in the comments. And remember, you don't have to be rich to stop living paycheck to paycheck. You just have to build your first 5,000 euros of freedom.